Alrighty, guys. About to get started here just in a minute. Just doing a quick check for all the technicals and making sure we're all good on the audio section. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Awesome. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to MTV TA. I'm your guys' host, Trent Manager. For all my patrons, welcome back. Glad to have you guys back once again. And for everyone who's new, welcome here, of course. And really glad to have you here, and thank you for taking the time on your busy Thursday to be here and take a part in this educational learning stream, as we do every Tuesday and Thursday around 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So always works pretty good. Awesome. Okay, we are good to go. Alrighty, guys. So it has been a it's been a crazy past 24 hours, 24 to 30 hours. For those who may have not been, kind of in the loop for what's going on, it's pretty much everywhere now. So I don't know how, most people couldn't, but we've had some quite some news from, Mr. Musk and some other individuals, environmentalists, and so on for our Bitcoin usage. So we're going to save that towards the last. I got my rant out yesterday with a good coworker and a couple friends, just because there are a lot of things that I just didn't agree with, and it's crazy because we come on here. I'm not gonna get into it crazy right now. Okay, we're gonna save it for the next, but we got to stick on schedule today because I told myself I wouldn't do this. So Thursday's coverage today, guys. So what we're gonna be covering today, some light articles such as Ethereum's price aiming for 5K. Looking to really blast off here. We got some news data on-chain metrics, to back that up that we're gonna go over as well. Reminder. Oh, sorry. Whoops, guys. Totally skipping over here. Reminder for everyone, who buys Bitcoin, not your keys, not your crypto. We're going to go over that as well. Kind of just the security measurement of, people keeping their cryptocurrencies on exchanges versus cold storage. We've covered this a little bit before, but the importance of having cold storage available is, for security reasons is ideal. We're also going to talk over SEC and their negative-ish push for Bitcoin ETF. Not really. It's more neutral. They still got some humps and hurdles to get over, and they're taking a very long time. And as you guys know, we're very far behind in the USA in terms of blockchain development and just overall acceptance and adoption with our integration. So that's not the best thing you want to see or hear, especially being a USA citizen. It's like, come on, like hurry up. See everyone else getting up to par. And then we're also going to talk about the $425 billion wiped out the crypto markets from Mr. Musk and his tweets and all his sayings that he's been going on. So we'll definitely cover that towards the end. And also I got some little extra readings here, kind of a Bitcoin car will race in the Indianapolis 500, which is pretty cool. We're going to look at that. It's like a whole, like how Red Bull's got those decals and like all those sponsorships. And, you guys have seen NASCARs that have, all those partnerships and stickers on them. So something along, pretty much identical along those lines. And also I'll throw this in here, how to file crypto taxes, definitely not get screwed. Yeah, guys, definitely do your taxes. I know it's hard to do, and like, it's not hard to do in the sense of like doing them, but actually like, mustering up the honesty, not only just with yourself, but you just having to do them. It's just something you just got to do. Like, trust me, I don't like Uncle Sam digging in all our pockets to see what we're doing, but it's just definitely, it's just part of what we're doing. It's just part of the world. It's just what you got to do. So, just to stay out of trouble. That's the last place you want to be, is IRS's desk. That's just trash. That's just not fun. So, all right, yeah. So first one we're going to go over Ethereum's price, aiming for 5K, and we're also going to go. We're going to go over some TA towards the end as well. But really, how this article really just broke down, from May 12th, we've seen Ethereum have, such a massive rally over these past, week and a half, 2 weeks, and it's completely outshined, Bitcoin in every way. Bitcoin, and we'll also be going into the Bitcoin chart as well. Bitcoin's performance over the past 2 months, 2.5 months, have been little to none. Pretty much just hovering around the same range from 54 up to that 58K range. Nothing really too much being done with Bitcoin's price action. But Ethereum, just like we covered this week as well with our video on Monday, I believe, if I remember my days correctly, is that we've covered in on-chain metrics of Ethereum and showing that Ethereum smart contracts and overall Ethereum locked in the network is at an all-time high. You're seeing a lot more exchanges have less Ethereum on them, and more for being moved towards staking pools and other passive income sources. And we've talked about what that means for staking Ethereum. Locking up your Ethereum in smart contracts, and staking is another way to show full support for the network. So what staking means, for those who may not know, is that you lock up a percentage of your Ethereum for a fixed amount of time, therefore supporting the network to continue doing its progressive cycles and, through its updates, and, you earn passive income for, locking up your Ethereum and so on and so on. But it really, bottom line, it just shows the support and the overall, thumbs up, green thumb, from the community as a whole, to, show that, we approve what Ethereum's doing, and, we're here for the long haul. And it just shows confidence. It really just shows it shows really hard dominance and confidence that, people aren't, worried about trying to cash out of their positions, and, move on to the next thing. People are here for the long term, and that's the attitude we definitely want to see. So, ETH and BTC still need to double. That is true. As crazy as the movement that we've had over the past couple days to couple weeks for Ethereum, going from our $3,400 mark up to like our $4,400 mark. I don't think we touched 4,500 if I'm correct, but seeing the movement that we've had, and once we go into the charts, we'll definitely be able to take a deeper look at this, is that we haven't seen that really parabolic movement from Ethereum just yet, and it's crazy to even say that we've seen the performance that it's had, but approaching coming as close as it has to the 5K mark, that is a huge psychological resistance that through Ethereum's price cycle that we knew was going to be coming. And what I mean by big psychological resistance, if you could really break it down in the terms, majority of people have that number that they correlate in their mind for cashing out positions. So 5,000, 4,000, 3,000 per increments, 500 or 50 even numbers. That's majority of the time that people will correlate to their average cost. So you of course buying your Ethereum at $100 and selling at 3,000 is a lot more comprehensible and understandable versus someone buying it 2,000 and selling at 3,000. So just had to kind of get that comparison in there as well. So awesome, guys. Just definitely want to kind of cover that, and we're going to go over TA, like I said, and we'll hop into those charts after this, but I definitely wanted to bring this to your guys' attention, just because Ethereum is still holding strong, minus yesterday's events and things that occurred yesterday. And also going over to the SEC, setting negative, ish Bitcoin ETF signal that may be positive for Grayscale. And, we've been fighting this for quite a while. Like, I cannot believe that we have not come to the conclusion of, having even just one ETF. Like we talk about it every stream because I'm so jealous of Canada and their progression and adoption with this, just overall technology as a whole. But overall, the ETF and that section is not only going to bring a surge of, investors, but it's a bit deeper than that as well. We've talked about plenty of times on this channel, from having your money on exchanges, just cold storage to lending. There's just so many places to where you can keep your cryptocurrency and utilize that in the best way, in a positive light. And the ETFs brings in a whole different crowd of people, as the sense of, we've talked about it too, is that not everyone wants to handle their private keys, and private keys are the seed phrases, and you've probably heard over the months and weeks here, people losing their seed phrases, their 24-word seed phrases, and they can't get back into their wallets, so therefore they've lost all the money in their accounts. And the consideration for this and the reason for this is that the ledger cold storage is the most secure way for securing your payments and keeping those pretty much immutable to comprehensive attacks. And that is just the true fact of it. You have a better chance of winning the lottery, I think 120 times like straight, than you do unlocking a private key with a 24 word phrase, and all those word phrases have to be correct capitalizations and in that order, or else you will not have access back inside your ledger. And that's kind of like a backup emergency phrase, kind of just how to get in depth there for people who may not understand. But going back to the main point is definitely for ETFs, you're just going to get a whole influx of individuals, especially high net worth individuals, who don't have time to sit down and learn this technology and know the ins and outs about their assets, as hedge fund managers and people who do this not only just for livings, but people of high net worth status. They don't have a lot of time to dedicate and push this off, learn about this type of stuff, such as private keys and online storage and hot storage and cold storage and lending and all that, all the things that come along with having a job in this space, or just overall being a guru and like enjoying the technology and just understanding whether you work in this field or not. It doesn't matter. It kind of all comes to the same information scale. So moving forward, I hope that I don't think we have a time date either on this ETF either, which is troubling, but it will get there. It's just I feel like in the US we just got like we think about things a little bit harder than we should. I feel like, especially in the sense of like securities and assets, and it's just it's a very I know they got to cut a lot more sharper corners than you and I do. So hopefully that can continue to move forward, and I still do believe we'll see a Bitcoin ETF before this year's over. So Awesome, guys. Cool. And then also we're going to go over Hungary's quick plan for Bitcoin tax cuts as part of their economic recovery program. So this is a cool thing I thought. This isn't a super long article, but I thought just overall, I thought this was just super dope. And I just really like the way that, they did this. So overall, what they're going to be doing for Hungary and their plans for Bitcoin tax is they're going to take the people who are doing Bitcoin are going to have a tax cut for their economic recovery plan. So, and this is going to tie in really nice to what we're going to cover about how Elon talked about, the issues of mining and not being green. So it's focusing on this right now specifically is Hungary's plan for, cutting these taxes is, people who own cryptocurrency, 15% of income come down at the rate of 30%. Such as a move would be Hungary's far competitive jurisdiction with respect to cryptocurrency-based capital gains taxes. So, I'm pretty sure most of us know about the long-term versus short-term capital gains tax, at least in here in the U.S. It does vary, by country and around the world. It's not all the same rollout. But overall, the cut that they're going to be giving for not only just long-term capital gains tax in Hungary, but also just the tax cut plan in general is that they see a completely different view, and we've debunked this many times, is the sense of cryptocurrency mining, especially Bitcoin mining, that it is not sustainable and that it's very bad for the environment and so on and so on. And we debunked this many times, and I have plenty of images that we're going to go on and later in this stream that I'm going to show you guys that, that is true. And if you've been here a while, we've covered this so many times that it's almost like it's almost broken record status at this point. Like I probably showed some of the screenshots I'm going to show here in a couple minutes, probably at least 20 times over this entire YouTube channel stream. So, really getting back to the main focus of this article is that, they are seeing a complete flip-flop of how Elon and kind of the rest of the environmentalists are seeing this. And they're taking it as they understand, they see through the smoke and mirrors. They see that a lot of that environmentalist stuff is not true, and that not only is a lot of it inaccurate, a lot of it is disproportionate. It's very disconnected from other senses, so such as Christmas lights during the season, or carbon emission fuels from jets and rocket ships, and satellite integration, and so on, things along those routes. You have a lot of bigger fish to fry in the sense of energy consumption, at least on planet Earth in that sense. But what they're doing in Hungary is that they're giving a nice tax cut for people who are utilizing their majority of their wealth and allocations in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because it is a more effective way than having your currency in cash. And environmentalist wise, that is very true. Cash burn, all the amount of money we printed and the environmentalist effect of money printing and so on, and the banking system is very, very high. And we'll be getting to that pretty shortly. But I thought this was really dope, and I would be really interested in to see how the U.S. maybe could implement this if they wanted to. And it's possible. It's just a matter of your priorities and if you want to or not. But just definitely want to get that on the table for you guys. So awesome. So now we're gonna be going to the fun part now. So those 4 articles, let me double check, guys, just to make sure we're still staying on schedule. Make sure I didn't skip anything, because I feel like I kind of went through those a bit fast. I want to make sure I didn't miss an article. Okay, all right. I guess not. I guess kind of the rest of the stream was kind of dedicated to proving the case of Elon. Alrighty, let's take a look. First, let's hop into the Twitter real quick and see what he tweeted. So we're gonna break this down, and we're gonna kind of really understand this, because as respected as Elon Musk is, and as great of a person as this guy is, I've had a very neutral stance with Elon. I enjoy the company Tesla. I enjoy him as an investor and an entrepreneur and an overall intelligent person. But in the sense of his influence, I think it is very, very strong, and I think a bit too strong in the sense. And these are just my personal feelings, but I'm going to get into some facts. I'm going to get out of my feelings, because I already had my rant yesterday. But Tesla has suspended vehicle purchasing using Bitcoin. We are concerned about the rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transaction, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any of its Bitcoin, but will intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions are more sustainable for energy. We are also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use or utilize 1% of Bitcoin's energy / transaction rate. So, okay, so let's first, I want to go through the replies here for you, because crypto Twitter, people who, and when I mean crypto Twitter, there are very influential people in crypto Twitter that have been here quite a while, not only for years, but people, of high net worth who, have taken the massive gamble of cryptocurrency and, actually, understand this, majority than most people and can, really break this down into, understandable terms. And going into here, he posts this stuff after to kind of follow up with his tweet, kind of just to prove, what he's talking about, which really doesn't prove anything. Bitcoin electricity consumption, and this is so, really, he left this open for a lot of stabbing, in my opinion. I think most of you guys feel that too. So here, let's go. I just want to kind of look at these comments so we can kind of go through this. So Peter Schiff, of course, on here. Pomp popped on here. Elon, you realize that 75% of miners use renewable energy, right? This energy story, this story has been debunked over and over again. TradingView as well. I thought this was insane, and this is one of the reasons why I think it's I don't think anyone should have this amount of power, but and I need to also speak this up into existence as well. Is that the reason that this movement is possible, and the overall longevity of the reason that this is this movement right here is possible is number one because of market cap utilization. And when I say this, I'm going to try to make this as easy to understand as possible. Is that regardless that Bitcoin does have a multi-trillion $1 trillion above $1 trillion market cap. And that's a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. I'm not undermining that, but in the sense of the global asset class, such as bonds, stock market, cryptocurrency, real estate, all those, where those are in the multi-trillions, it's a lot easier to have, for Elon to have this influence and have something like this happen at this state still in the game. $1 trillion is a great amount of money, guys, but in the sense of big players and overall investments in comparison to other asset classes, it's not. So we are still a baby learning how to walk in the term of of overall asset class. So that is one of the reasons as to how this manipulation as to how he can tweet and say this, and this can have this sort of effect that we see right here. So I definitely wanted to cover that just for a short second. But other than that, it wasn't too crazy. And now we're gonna move on to some quick PNGs real quick, just because I think you guys just gotta see this. So current annual CO2 emission globally, not Bitcoin. This is just one. I've got plenty of them. Don't you worry. Comparison energy across mandatory banking systems. So this is the banking systems, not only just in the U.S. but around the world. Gold mining makes its way in there as well. So not banking system. This is going to be includes energy cost, not only just from keeping the printers on, but from lights in the building, ink resources. All the ways that they construct the banking system and money. You can see how the effect is very, very large in the form of carbon footprint. I got sources and all here down here. I always back up what I'm saying, guys. You guys always know that. That's one of the big things that I really pride myself on, is literally just always having backup, to prove that, this is something that is accurate. So this is another one as well, from Ark and Kathy Wood. We already covered that one. And also, for the last one, we're going to be going over the platform of kilowatts, electricity consumed, and just overall just kind of long per section. So it goes over Bitcoin, Ethereum, MasterCard, IOTA, and all that. So, it's not, of course, and it's not perfect. Bitcoin mining is not absolutely perfect, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, I didn't tweet this yesterday, but it's just, true common knowledge that, we use more here in the U.S. for Christmas lights during the holiday season than we do Bitcoin mining throughout the entire year. And that's just true. I mean, even just to put it on a more simpler scale, you having your lights on right now, each house uses about I think your dryer uses 6% of your energy just alone, and that's on all day, every day, 365 days a year. Times that by all the households in the United States, you're pumping out on a yearly, probably if double, if not triple, if not quadruple the amount of output from Bitcoin mining, output per year. So, and I mean, I don't even need research to back that up. You can simply just do the lookups. This has been debunked so many times, guys. It's crazy. I can't believe that. I have to have this talk again. I can't believe we have to have this talk again. Sorry, not I. We have to have this talk again. So, and also hopping over to MicroStrategy, my MicroStrategy did do another buy, 271 Bitcoins for $15 million in cash, average cost of $55,000 per Bitcoin. So they did add to their stack. I think that now puts them at, I can't even tell you. We'll have to go look before the end of the stream and see what's going on. But overall, guys, we kind of just busted through some, real hard analysis. And, this is another one I like to bring up too, is because when in doubt, zoom out. This quality isn't very good, of course, but, from, you could tell 2011, 12, 13, 14, so on. Look at this beautiful chart, and just to give some even more justification, to kind of, what I'm saying is that we've had all these, over this whole chart, you've seen, that is just a small input to overall all these years of progression, that we've had in these markets. And even all throughout these markets, we've had issues like this. We've had people come out and say, hey, stuff isn't clean, energy's not good. It may dip temporarily, but as you guys can tell, we've always figured it out. And even more data, I like to back this stuff up, and we've talked about this as well, guys, is the Lindy effect. I like the Lindy effect. I like the phenomenon because it literally is proven fact of technology, and how the longer it stays of life expectancy, the longer it is utilized and integrated, is the longer and the less likely that it is going to be going away. So if we were to put internet, the .com bubble or the .com in general on a linear scale, the Lindy law, in terms of the Lindy law, it would successfully fulfill that role, because the internet went through the exact same phases that we are going through exactly with Bitcoin. The transition of, just like, kind of that Gandhi quote. It's like, first they hate you, or no, first they laugh at you, then they mock you, then they fight you, and then you win. There just comes a certain point where it's just like, if you can't beat them, join them, seriously. And we've already seen that narrative kind of shift a ton this year, of people, not only just JP Morgan's a great example also. It's because Ethereum flipped JP Morgan in market cap yesterday or 2 days ago. So now Ethereum as an ecosystem is worth more than JP Morgan, Bank of America, and a lot of these major AAA banks. So what does that say about Ethereum? So in terms of Lindy effect, that says that Ethereum technically is going to, stand the test of time, and therefore, have the decrease take it off the table, in terms of longevity. So the longer something stays in utilization and is monetized and continuing to exist, that, and here I can definitely even pull up some here. We have some good images. We can pull this up as well. Is that the future life expectancy becomes the blue dots are the correlation of not think of the blue dots as the sea, and the green line is the bridge. So the further that we keep going in age wise, we start getting out of the woods slowly. So eventually, granted, we're still in the fucking very if you were to put it in retrospect, Ethereum's only been alive about 6 years, and Bitcoin's even 15. So we're more like around this range if we're really to put this in Lindy effect terms. We're right around this speculation. We were all the way back here at one point, and there was a time where it was like, oh crap, like we're gonna fall in the water, and we might not make it to see the end of this sea. But as time goes on, what does this show us? Current age, the implementations are not going away, and overall this just shows that we're continuing to get out of the woods. And as long as we stay active as a technology and we keep this moving, like that's just as simple as a fact. That's really what it is, and that's why I like the Lindy effect, because and here this is another great one. I'll post this on the Patreon also, because so you guys can kind of actually I'm gonna write an article about this today, actually, guys. Like seriously, like I kind of went on a tangent just for a sec, but now that I think about it, I need to write an article about this, because I think the Lindy effect is very underrated. Like I think that is just one of the most underrated phenomenon effects that we can present for modern day technology. So super duper great on that end. Alrighty, guys. So let's see what time we're locking in right now. 23. Okay, actually we did really good on time today, guys. And we're gonna go over this Bitcoin car real quick, because I think it's super cool. It looks dope. Look at that. That's cool. That's pretty sick. So the Indianapolis 5, I think that's France. I think that's in France, right? I might be completely wrong. I didn't read this whole article, guys, just because I thought it was more of an extra fun type deal. But awesome, guys. So cool. Before we get out of here, we're gonna hop on to the BTC chart. We're gonna look at some quick TA, and I was getting a lot of questions and messages yesterday about what the next move may be, and of course I'm not a crazy guru guy and know everything, but we can. That's why we do TA, so we can come on here and look at the technicals and give a better representation and see different alleyways as to where we can go. We can get on alleyway B, we can hit Hollywood A, Hollywood C. There's so many different ways that this could definitely go. But when in doubt, guys, seriously, always when in doubt, zoom out. We always say it because it's true. So when in doubt, zoom out. This just it's really I cannot stress that enough. So alrighty, guys, so let's hop into this BTC chart. So I had it plotted before I hopped on here. I was doing some quick TA earlier this morning, kind of just wanted to see how we're looking at. So if we put it in terms, just kind of see what we're looking at. So we have been in this consolidation phase for about 87 days. So BTC has not done anything significant about 87 days. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not. Like we've talked about, we need to also consider the movement that we have had over the past, not only just the monthly candle closes as well, but overall just what we've seen performance-wise. So we can actually do that. So let's go to the monthly. Let's take a look. It might look real quick. Let's go to the monthly. Let's take a look at what we've done. So like we've done this so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 green monthly candle closes in a row. Back to back to back to back to back. 6 months of where you could have entered the market of any time in that month and you would be in profit month after month. So you got in here, you got in October, green, profit, green, 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 and then we just had a red, like literally for the month of last month. So give BTC some slack. There is no other asset in the world that you can come and perform this to. In no sense. And the crazy thing is, you guys already know this. There are other coins that, are not as, utilization heavy, that are kind of more jokes that have outperformed Ethereum and Bitcoin combined. There are people, you see 100x and 200x gains and, with everything going on with all these food coins, etc. So just definitely had to put that on the table. So we've been in consolidation phase for about 87 days, and we're looking more towards the downside. Elon's tweet came in here yesterday, so we're looking a little bit bearish for the scenario for the following short to medium term. I can explain what I charted and kind of just give my personal view, just because you guys like my personal view, which I think is cool. It's fine. I have no problem sharing that. So the lines I have here, I got my buy zones down here, and also we're going to talk about the 20-week the 200 moving average. I'm so sorry guys, goodness sakes, the 20-week moving, the 200-week moving average. So if we're going to go back and we're going to do a quick little jump back in history real quick, we have not tested the 200 since, I believe, if we're really going to be real, like if we're going to get down nitty gritty, we haven't touched it since July. And if we really want to be even more like kind of just cherry picking a little bit more, we can say that we haven't even touched it since August. July is a little bit stretched back, but realistically, the last time we touched this was July. And from then, we have not touch the 200-day moving average. So that means that there's a likely chance, that we will be touching the 200-week moving average. We have not touched it this cycle yet at all. And last cycle, in the cycle before that, we touched it about 3 to 4 times. And even on the 40% correction that we had in January and February when we broke that 40K range and we dropped down to 28, back down to 28K, that was about a 40% correction. So let me put in the retrospect and kind of show you guys what what that would look like, what a retracement would look like from our current price target. So us going down to touching the 200 day, that's only an 18% drop, and that would put us at $38,000. Oh my gosh, that seems like so freaking low. Like, oh my gosh, Trent, like, dude, I don't know if we're gonna be able to, recover from that. Like, like, how are we gonna get there? But then here, let me put this in your head as well. Like, shoot, let's do this. During this gap time, from here, let's even do this. Actually, here, this is a really bad comparison. Yeah, actually, let's start from the very bottom of January and let's go to the wick of February because we had such a great performance. That was a 97% move that we had from January all the way to February. So let's not discredit, how fast things can really turn, because it's a lot easier, to look down, on BTC's performance and be like, and it's so much easier to look at this, of course, look at this section on and be like, oh, like Bitcoin doesn't do anything, like this sucks, like what is all the hype about? But then, when you go to something like, I don't even need to go back to the, the main big chart, but when you look at something like this, like here, when you look at this for consideration, let's take a look at this. Like, that's crazy, Like, there's no, like, and most people aren't going to, take the magnitude to look at something like this. But that's really why I'm a big believer in, you got to look at the longevity of how long, we've had. Because we've seriously, guys, if you've been here for a while, like, you've just kind of just really tried hard to learn this market and, like, really try, things in and out, whether that be TA or just understanding the news better. Like, we've had so much fun and insecure, like, guys, during the COVID crash, like, March of last year, like, man, that was truly do or die time, like, no one knew what was going to happen, Grant, I don't think no one knew what was going to happen, but in the overall, especially in the crypto markets, like, when you have stock slide, you're like, oh, wow, like, this is pretty serious, but, when you have things that aren't even securities in the eyes of the government, and, like, the government is still kind of, like, halfway on your side, like, and we weren't even halfway on your side, like, you still had, like, we had less than half of them on our side, and in retrospect to that. So this is I just wanted to plot this on here and kind of just give you guys an idea of what to look out for in here. I can I did this as well. Let me take this, measure this out, and kind of just give you another cool spectrum or another kind of train of thought. So this was the rally we had from December time to January time, and here we can measure that out as well, and we can kind of just see the magnitude of that. So that was about 121%, and then also if we took that and put that here, just from our, let's say we moved 121%. Let's take a look. That was our last rally that we had the month beforehand. So let's say we put this at 121. So that would put us at that put us at about $108,000 Bitcoin. So the main lesson here, guys, is really just do not these consolidation phases are completely normal, and let's not discredit Bitcoin's movement and its performance over the past 6 months, because this is completely normal to have consolidations, especially this long, especially for the performance you just had. Like, in retrospect, you just ran 40 miles straight, and now they're like, that would be like you running 40 miles straight, and then them asking you to go run another 20 miles. There's a good chance you're not gonna be able to do that because you're barely surviving after the first 20 miles you just did. So definitely don't discredit that, guys. Just wanted to give you like a real real idea of how this could definitely work out. So that's all. Awesome, guys. And before I wrap up, we're gonna hop over to the Ethereum chart real quick, and this is kind of one of my favorites because Ethereum is looking so strong. We saw yesterday, that drop barely affected Ethereum at all, and I have kind of the same retrospect as to, kind of the last Bitcoin chart. I took a section of our last move from our move of Ethereum from January to February, of that month. And here, let's remove this and kind of just see that price action. Let's see exactly what we had here. So putting that in respect of this, that was about a 70% move that we had over that month from January, pretty much end of January to beginning of, whole month of February. And, if we were to recreate that as well, just to give some, idea out there as well, as to how, Ethereum could possibly perform, even just taking that from where we are right now and putting a 73% increase, puts us at about a 6K Ethereum. But granted, I don't think that's going to happen right away. We never knew that the path to Ethereum, getting this high would be easy. We never said or knew that. I knew that this was not going to be easy at all, by no any means. But you can see the strong, pretty much the strength of how Ethereum has been competing. Even just I thought what was impressive yesterday when I was watching price action was Ethereum's resistance to not only just Elon's tweet. Of course it took the bleed, but how fast and how strong it held up versus other projects such as Bitcoin and a lot of these other top tier Oracle projects as well. But Ethereum has some very strong fundamentals, and we've talked about that ton of this week. We went over Glassnode, we went over the Ethereum locked up value in smart contracts, the locked up volume in DeFi. There's so many sectors that we've covered of Ethereum as to why it's this strong and why it's like this. So I'm not gonna repeat everything that we repeated this week. For those who need to, you can go back and watch these our old videos from later this week, and you can kind of just catch up with the speed of kind of what's going on. So awesome, guys. So realistically, didn't have anything else really to cover today. Wanted to hop on here. I'm glad I kept my composure, I think, better than what I thought I was going to. I was telling myself before I hopped on here, I was like, dude, you gotta not go crazy for Mr. Elon today. But I think that is actually wrapping up. I think that's all good for the day. Actually, you know what? No, actually, here, this was put on CoinDesk this morning. 3 reasons why Bitcoin does not care about Elon Musk. This was actually pretty interesting. So they actually went through 3 main scenarios. So the proof of work system. We've also talked about the price trends that don't care. Bitcoin energy consumption technically doesn't care, and so on. So I'm not going to go in deep on each one of these 3 just because I was kind of stretching on time already. But just to give a quick overview, and really, because these are things we've talked about. These aren't brand new topics. All these 3 things is what they're connecting to. Is at least what I thought in my mind, and when I read this, is that it kind of goes back to when in doubt, zoom out. So if you go back and what we just talked about, and you go back and look at that long scale of how long we've had to go through this, of from 2011 even as 2016. It's so whatever point you want to choose in Bitcoin's history, we have dealt with things worse than this, such as FUD and uncertainty, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We've dealt with worse things than Elon's hype tweets and things along those lines. So a lot of the top tier Bitcoin guys are gonna kind of reassure you of that. Of course, you guys probably don't just watch me; you watch a ton of other popular guys as well. But definitely want to get on the table. So these are not new topics. We've had things worse than this. We've seen time and time again people try to knock BTC out of the park, and it just doesn't happen. And no matter what, she's always came back and showed people that, hey, I don't really care what you guys think or say or do. I'm gonna do my own thing, and I will continue to do my own thing. So awesome. Alrighty, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Any subscribe, share, friends and family, get this information to them if they want to learn about this type of stuff. And also you can check the Patreon link down in the bio if you want to do that as well. Any questions, DMs, I'm always open here. I love talking with you guys because you guys usually have really good questions. I had a really good question the other day of making me kind of scratch my head. It was more of a Cardano question, but regardless, it's all good. So alrighty, guys, have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next week, or I'll probably see you guys in between if things get crazy. I'll definitely be here, to keep you guys updated. Alrighty, guys.